Yo, what is good, fam? Welcome to episode 106. Speaking of which, podcast. I'm feeling real Long Island today, man.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy John over there.
Yes, sir. And we got a special guest, man.
Yeah,
Long
Strong Island, baby.
Long Island's third splash, bro. You can probably say after Steph, after Clay. You know what I'm saying? He's toured around the world, man, around the country, and he has songs with Lil TJ, Jeremiah. Co-written songs for Drake, and recently he received song credits for Tyga's album NSW. We got Long Island's own, the legend, Johnny Drama. Drama, relax. Yes,
Yeah.
my boy.
Thank you.
Yeah. You already know, man.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here a second time because unfortunately the first time,
Sorry, man.
yeah, for whatever reason,
Genuinely,
the file got corrupted, bro. And I have a crazy story from that shit. Not only was that like super disappointing, but I lost everything on that drive, bro.
I think Maui had a music video on
Maui
it, right?
Max music video, like just a whole bunch of
and
shit.
he tried
bro.
to pay. Didn't you try paying like $1,000 to get the
I
files
did pay
back?
like $2,000 to get it
and only
repaired.
like 20% of it recovered, bro.
Yeah.
I talked with Mac about that because I was like, "Are you sure that it got corrupted and they don't just want to cancel my shit?" And Mac confirmed. He was like, "Yeah, man, they fucked up my shit too." And I'm like, "All right, they wouldn't do that to Mac."
Yeah, let's blame it on the Black
like
Magic
that.
6K.
Yeah,
For
it's
whatever
alright.
reason, that camera just went kaput that
But
day.
we're here, man. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes, sir.
And,
Episode
glad to have you
106,
back
man.
on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yo, like recently, you've had a lot of good shit going on, man. You want to jump right into that, or you want to start at the beginning? What you want to do, Drum? This is your episode, my boy.
Right,
Let
I
it
appreciate
loose.
it. So, I mean, obviously, I've spent a lot of time and have a lot of a backstory of my musical career up to this point.
Long Island legend.
Right.
Just keep it a buck.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've always been a big representative for the Long Island music scene, as have Raz, who's sitting over there.
Yeah, shout out Raz,
Good
man. Get in the
boy.
camera real quick. Come on, real quick. Let them know. What's up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Relax, baby.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
I do appreciate doing anything where I could speak about my story and explain my roots. I've always been very loyal to Long Island and always plan to be. A lot has changed in the time span since I first started. Just the whole dynamic of music itself and the culture out here, which is really all I've ever been familiar with. I mean, I've never really gone anywhere else and like really tried to make any type of change. I've always stayed local as far as just my creative standpoint.
People really appreciate that.
Which
Right.
is rare, bro. I tell this to John. I feel like people from Long Island, at least what I've seen, because I'm from Brooklyn, I don't really see Long Island really like wear it on their sleeve like that. I mean, I don't really know too many artists that really rep Long Island like that, in the mainstream at least.
Yeah, I think, and we had this conversation on Rav's stream over there. I think what I take from Long Island is I like being by the beach. I like being by the water. I like the environment out here. And I also think that since there's no big homie type of guy and there's no like a path that's already worked,
Right.
that it kind of allows artists to pick and choose the direction that they want to go with. So my sound, to me, people sometimes say it's kind of Drakey, and I would say that's like the most comparison that I really get for the most part. But I think it's unique, and I think it's unique because of the fact that I've stayed kind of in an area that doesn't really have some sort of larger thing to pull from. It's kind of just like what you want to make it.
Right.
A lot of people usually make a comment and say they don't know where I'm from or they don't know where this music video was shot, even though Long Island is a very popular known spot.
Right.
It kind of gives off the middle of nowhere vibes and like this random who knows where he's at spot.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it gets looked at as the little brother to the city, you know,
Yeah. I feel like
It
a
is
lot of
what it is.
artists too, they just rep the city. Like
or
if-
just New York.
They just say
"I'm
New
from
York, but meanwhile
you
they
know?
went to school in Bayshore. They went over here. Like, just why aren't you proud of it? Because they think it's soft or something, or it's not ghetto enough. Like, who cares? Like, rep that shit, bro.
I will say though, recently, with Tekka, even though he doesn't really claim it.
But he does show
grew up
love
in
to Long Island at least, though. He does be like,
At his
I
show,
got
he
lacrosse from Long Island when I was in high school. Yeah, he does the show in Huntington, you know. So
yeah, so there's Tekka, there's Chow Lee, there's definitely representation, Zilla Kami.
But when you think of them, you don't necessarily like. We know.
Yeah.
But, you know, the random Joe Schmo on the street is not going to be like, oh, yeah, they from Long Island.
Type shit.
So, I get what you're saying, though. That's a great point.
Well, it's like, even if for Chow Lee, for example, because I feel like in my mind, when I think of Chow Lee, I think he's Long Island, because the first time I ever heard of Chow Lee was from a Long Island rap list. And that's usually who I like. If I see an artist on one of these rap lists that I've never heard of, that's kind of how I'm like, okay, this is a Long Island guy. So when I first saw Chow Lee's name, he was number 1 on this Long Island rap
post.
list.
Was it like a blog post?
You know, it was his team that put that on.
Oh, was it?
Smart move, right?
Oh, well. No, I didn't know that. Did you know that? Back in 2019, there was like a couple months of time where these lists, it might have been even more than just what was going on in Long Island. I don't know if it was like happening everywhere, but like there was just like a rapper list coming out, you know, every other day. There was like a new rap list, like who's like the top 50.
Oh, that's
it was
cool.
always
like power rankings kind of thing.
Drama, Mac.
It's like, yeah. And it's like, if you're a Long Island rapper and you're not, I mean, like, even if you're just Joe Schmo rapper, you got to be on the top 50.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot. But I was number 48 on this list.
Okay,
so
that's pretty high.
Clearly
low. You mean? That's pretty low.
High on the list.
Listen, clearly that's unbelievable. And that's not, and I'm not saying that I should be higher on that list because of if you think my music is good or not, but if you're basing that list off of just
accomplishments,
just anything that would make, you know, I don't even know, because I don't want to sound like I'm like bragging about myself in any way, but there's no way I should be 48.
No other way to say it.
No, this just should not be the case. But Chow Lee was number 1, so at least he got his Long Island flowers. If it was his team, then yeah, okay, good move, I guess. Good business move. But here's the thing. The music that he's making, the drill music or the sexy drill music, he could, even if he's repping Long Island, I feel like it doesn't matter, because in anybody's mind, whether you're a music person or not, and obviously your music is more, the people that are receiving your music are more of the fan base, not people that are within the music industry that understand, oh, this music's coming from here, this, that. People hear the sexy drill and everything, and they're just like, okay, that's New York music. So the genre of music that he's making, even if he is repping Long Island, no one's going to be like, oh, he's repping Long Island. He's making New York City music. And I think that's why a lot of people get categorized maybe in that thing, even if they're not like outright saying, I mean, I don't know, is he saying that he's from the
Damn, that's
city?
a great point, bro.
I don't know if people always are
I get what you're
saying
saying. Yeah. Damn.
It's the music too. That's why the music that I make, even if it'll never be, I could have said I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't really take the sound that I make and I think pinpoint it to a specific location, whereas the New York City music, most people, it's like, yeah, that's New York City music. Yeah, okay, so the guy must be from New York. It's obvious, like, the sound.
That's a great point.
I think what makes you distinct, though, like, I feel like you are kind of what represents the Long Island sound, if there was one. I'm not going to hold you. Like, when I first heard of you, there was a Jake Paul video or something like that.
Right.
They had put your song in the description of the YouTube video, and this YouTube video at the time had like 2-3 million views. So I go to the fucking link, I click it, and that shit was fucking hard. Like,
Yeah.
it was on some like you mentioned, like people really like categorize you with Drake and shit. It really did sound like some Drake One Dance type shit, but Long Island's version of it.
I can't say you're my baby. I can't talk that crazy. I know money won't save me, but I need all of it lately. Can't run when we eye to eye. Don't tell on me, don't tell a lie.
Yeah. So
to me, that's what really popped you off.
Right.
Initially.
That was Can't Talk Crazy. He used a couple of my songs, and even if like at the time it was like Jake Paul was getting like, you know, it was like 3 million views was how much views were on the YouTube videos that he was putting out with my music, and like you think about 3 million views now, and you don't think that that's really anything crazy.
At the time, though?
At that time, 3 million views was enough to pretty much jumpstart somebody's career. Mm-hmm. even you're talking about the documentaries you put. I mean, 3 million views now would almost be not even that much of a. I mean, it's still a success, but like you're aiming
it's
for.
because it's more
for more than that,
saturated,
right? So at that time, just the whole everything, SoundCloud, these YouTube vloggers, everything was not as saturated. So anytime you had a little moment, not only did it have a bigger impact, but it also had more longevity. The moment
it held more weight,
right? Doing things and accomplishing things back at that time, 2018, 2017, you could run off of the moment longer than you can now, because now, tomorrow, something else happens immediately with a new artist, a new streamer, new this. So I was fortunate to have moments happen that still could impress people now and still have an impact now, because at the time, Jake Paul, I mean, this guy's like the biggest guy ever. But at that time, he was kind of coming up, and since he has had a drawn-out career and had success now, that moment will always, it grows in time.
It sustains, for sure.
So, yeah, but he used my music in his vlogs, and that's what started a lot of attention to my SoundCloud, brought attention to
Even
that.
before that, though, you were making noise. You had mentioned in the podcast that never came out that in high school you was really active in the studio. Shout out Bayshore for even having a studio.
That's so cool.
I wish Brentwood had
I
that.
wish.
100%. I don't even know if there's any other town that has one.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. We can start there, and then we can go back to like when Can't Talk Crazy came about.
So I was already writing raps coming into 9th grade, which is going into high school, is where the studio was. I don't even know if I was aware that they had a studio. I think it was just like the shock of being in high school and seeing that there was other things happening, and just in school in general. I know everybody probably can relate to the transition from middle school to high school is just a crazy time.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, so I saw that there was a studio. I immediately, like my first week, met somebody named Classic, Gabe, who's a rapper and a big brother to me. And he kind of just, I think I just told him I rap or said I was interested in it, expressed some sort of interest. He started bringing me into the studio, and I was immediately kind of like, it was like competing. I was competing with the other rappers. And what I think made music interesting too at that point for me was it was like way more of a competitive thing.
Yes.
The nature was a lot more competitive, and it was like I might have not even been able to record if it wasn't like up to par of what the 11th grade, 12th grade rappers thought was good enough.
Oh wow!
Right.
How many would you say there were?
There was just maybe like 2 or 3 guys.
Okay.
And they I don't even know what made them. I mean, I guess I understand. Like, you know, there were some guys. You know, there was this one rapper named Teo who. He had some interesting things happen to him, and he never really like took me under his wing in a sense, but he showed me and just being an outsider looking in, kind of like the difference of being like a cool rapper and being like somebody that people are just making fun of because you rap. Because I was like, okay, this guy's rapping, and people kind of like are accepting of it, and they're welcoming it. And people were coming in through the glass, because the music theory room had like a glass to see into the booth, and people would just come just to like see me in there and like kind of goof on the situation, because it was just you know, crazy to think that I was in there rapping.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what the high school booth did for me more than anything, I think, was just push me and give me the motivation to want to make music and learn how to make music. A lot of people, you know, I don't even think know how to record
early, I guess.
Right, and you have to do that.
That's where you did your artist development, at least early on.
Right.
Did you perform like in the auditorium, like talent shows or anything?
No.
Those were fun in high school.
I don't think I mean I don't know. I never was like showcasing it in any way.
That would have been fire.
Yeah, I don't really think the high school really embraced it at all. I've mentioned before that you know, you weren't allowed to curse.
Right.
You weren't allowed to curse, right? You weren't allowed to curse. I was always getting accused of cursing, because what would happen was the guy who ran the studio, Mr. Schaefer, who was a big inspiration for me. This guy.
Shout out Schaefer.
Yeah, he was the man. He would monitor the situation, so he would listen outside in his office or whatever to the whole thing. And the second you cursed, he's in the door, and you're done. You're done for the day.
What?
And sometimes he would accuse me of like saying things
in
like
your windows and shit.
no, like he would accuse me of saying like, you said this, and I'm like, dude, I would never say that.
Damn, sounds like he hating.
Right, and I just think that there was just I think someone got on him and were like, yo, we got to shut this down.
This guy's too good, bro.
This rap,
Nah,
not just about
good,
me.
bro.
They just the rap
Yeah.
thing. I think they wanted to shut it down because there was some guy playing the trumpet or something that needed to use the studio. You know?
And rappers, they gonna be like, man, fuck out of here.
Right, right. I mean, Mac. I think Mac was very defiant. If you guys ever talk to Mac,
Man, fuck out
No,
of here,
yeah.
man.
I think because the thing is like half the time we were in there, we weren't supposed to be in there.
Lunchtime.
Okay.
You
Wow,
know?
you guys are bad kids, man.
And here's another thing too that I think it taught me. Well, Mac would go in there. I think like Mac was banned and he was still in there. Like you would be banned from the studio and like you would still see the guys in there and I'll be like, dude, you just got suspended for being in here and now you're back in here smoking or something.
Yeah.
I think people were smoking in the studio. I don't know for sure. I don't know.
Damn.
I'm not saying Mac was doing this. I'm just thinking that.
Nah, I feel you.
I'm just saying maybe somebody at some point could have been.
Little split.
Fair,
Fuck
fair.
it.
If vapes were around at that time, people would be smoking vapes in the studio, for sure.
No vape culture.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but another thing that I think it taught me to do was anytime I had access to the studio, I had it for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I have to make a song in 10 minutes.
So you recorded. You would write everything before recording.
No, I
Did you
never
make a
write any. I
reference?
never wrote anything. Well, yes. I would. When I first started, I would write lyrical raps. But then as I kind of transitioned to like the Chief Keef era, Chief Keef came out 2011 maybe.
Yeah.
If you were really
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
That's fire.
So then I started doing like rapping over his instrumentals.
Glow beats type.
Yeah,
shit?
like you
Young
know, every
Chop,
day,
Young Chop beats.
right? All like his biggest songs from like every day,
Yeah.
that whole mixtape.
I don't know them. Monster.
Right, all that
Come
stuff.
on, man.
So I would rap over that. I might have even have just been doing covers of that.
That's hard though.
That's how you get better though. That's
Yeah.
why you develop your sound.
Right.
You know?
And so I only had like 10 minutes.
On the beat.
Yeah, it was classic. And then they saw that was happening, and they were like, "This kid."
So you think the
Outta
speed run of the 10 minutes, like, kind of like, it was like a boot camp for you?
Well, I think that's why I make songs in 10 minutes now.
Mm.
You know,
Talk your shit.
That's
Damn,
like-
son, where'd you find that?
right?
That's
right.
what's up.
Right, but it's not to say that that's what you should do. I mean, I'm actually noticing the more music I make is not that great. I think because I'm rushing it. But but my best song, like "Can't Talk Crazy," for example, people might argue that that's my best song or whatever. Splash, and that only took me maybe a half an hour to make. So it's not like my best songs I change something different and spend a little more time. I mean, I usually spend the same amount of time.
Right.
Sometimes it just clicks. Sometimes it does. Most of the times it doesn't.
So
Rest
at
in
what
peace.
point, rest in peace, J Stash,
Word.
at one point do you start, like, really building momentum to meet or even get on J Stash's radar?
So I was producing beats. I was at one point. If you search Drake type beat, maybe in like 2014.
2014.
If you search a
Way
Drake
back.
type beat on YouTube, my beat was the first one to come up.
Oh, shit.
You
You would produce?
right? I was producing. I was
Holy
sampling.
shit.
Yeah, I was
I
sampling.
did not know that.
I was sampling a lot of beats. Actually, the music class is what taught me how to use Logic, and that's what I was making the beats on. But I was sampling a lot of like old school music and stuff like that.
Damn, that's hard.
Like old
I wish
school
I knew how to do
70s.
that shit. That's
Yeah,
hard.
it's easy to do though. Actually, Rabs knows. I mean, you think it's difficult, but then once you actually start doing it, it's pretty simple,
Damn, put us in the booth then. I want to learn.
right? I mean,
Yo, if John was a rapper, that'd be nuts, bro.
Hey, I've made songs.
You would put Brentwood on like crazy,
Xbox
bro. Like,
360
you stand
shit,
out
like-
crazy,
I
bro.
had songs. But go
right? You
ahead.
would definitely represent Long Island, right?
For sure.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Little Johnny boy.
Colossal Island, you know?
Right. You're probably. I mean, I think that you've made yourself a stamp in Long Island with what you've done,
Hell yeah.
I would say so personally.
right? I
This
think any
is-
artist in our category knows you and
I appreciate that.
probably definitely respects your work.
Thank you, man.
Where the
Thank you.
flowers at? Huh?
I actually think that you were probably the only camera guy that was shooting pictures at that high quality of a level right? I mean, I don't even
appreciate
know if
that,
there's
bro.
any other person. Right, I don't even. You always had high quality. Like it was
Let's
just like, okay,
go.
I know he's gonna be high quality. Like I think everybody had that expectation.
Dang, that's fire. Because
Yeah.
coming into like the Revolution shows, the Amityville music shows, like where you would headline, like that headlining show that you did, I think it was Revolution, right?
Yeah.
That shit was eye-opening for me because it takes, sometimes you need proof in what's going on to like really like take things serious, and seeing your show and seeing that there was an impact in Long Island going on, I wanted to be a part of that. So my success is a derivative of everybody else who's just doing their thing.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. And we also did I had you with the Paramount shoot.
Yes, that was legendary.
Paramount. Oh yeah.
Yes,
He opened up for
Paramount.
TJ.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Jay Stash, he was at the time like somebody who was really making like a foundation for himself, and he was putting on other people.
Right. He's a legendary person. I think a lot of people would say he's a legendary person. Not just in the music world, probably more so in just the like the style world or whatever he was
Fashion,
doing.
for
You know,
sure.
fashion stuff. But yeah, he found me off of the beats, and then he wound up signing me to Relax Records just off of I think he really just looked at me as somebody that had a creative idea and a creative direction, and somebody that was willing to kind of just do whatever. And he was in the city a lot. So I would meet him in the city a lot, and I would engineer him, or I would go to the studio with him, and you know, he was definitely the boss man, and that's how it felt. So that was the first time that within music I felt like, you know, because when you have like an OG person in music, it's very different from like a job or something like that. It's like this is somebody that when you see him, you have high respect for, somebody
You want
that
to impress him.
right, you want to impress them, and you want to. Relax Records had a bunch of artists, so you want to stand out, and you also want to be available, and just at any point you want to be valuable.
What did they say?
Yes.
The best ability is
Is
availability.
availability.
That's right.
Come on, man. That's
You want to be available, which I've always been for
And
whoever.
that competition aspect came back again, like in high school with
Right.
the recording studio. Same thing with Relax Records.
Right.
You
So
want to stand out.
right. So Jay Stash dropped a group mixtape. It was called Relax Summers, of everybody that was on Relax Records.
Totally sounds like your lane.
Yep. So
That's hard.
and that's when I was Johnny Drama at that point. I mean, just to make that clear. My Instagram handle was Drama Relax. That's how I got the name Drama Relax. So he dropped a group mixtape, and I had a song called Bracken on that, and that song just really did the best, probably because of a mixture of people thought the song was hard because it was like a trap song, and also just the shock value of it, that I was just a white rapper who was making this like
Polarizing.
weird trap song.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah, pull up on them all with some hoes. Pull up on while my pockets fat. I got dough, boy.
But I wasn't like talking about, you know,
Gra gra boom.
yeah, I wasn't like fabricating anything.
It wasn't the krakata.
No, but I shot a music video for that down in Miami, and that was kind of like a crazy music video. And that's kind of what propelled me to get my own fan base from, you know, Relax Records. Everything I really have is due to Jay Stash kind of giving me that platform, you know,
Yeah.
with
Shout out to
SoundCloud
him.
and stuff. Yeah, so
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to him. You know, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people are upset by that situation.
And it's dope. I don't know if, you know, maybe it's the reason, but you kind of keep his name a little bit alive, or you like leave a piece of you from the past with you with the name Relax.
Right. Well, he had a bit of
Was
an
that
issue.
like a contract thing, or
What was?
like having that name, or like?
The name was a bit of an issue.
Okay.
He had a bit of an issue with the name. I don't want to get too into it because it was actually a very stressful time for me. But he had an issue with the name. He had an issue more so with the label. I think doing business with me under the name Drama Relax. The reason why I couldn't use the name Johnny Drama was because the person, I don't know who had this relationship, or if this was even, I didn't really understand it, but the character Johnny Drama is from a TV show, Entourage, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big show. Everybody knows this show. And one of the characters in there was named Johnny Drama.
He's pretty funny on that show.
Right.
By the way.
Everybody, yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
there's not a resemblance of me and him.
Yeah.
I guess the person that signed me called me one day and was like, look, we got to change the name because I don't know if it definitely wasn't like Mark Wahlberg, who was the producer of Entourage, but it was somebody maybe at that, you know, in that business
Right.
that basically said, I can't use the name Johnny Drama, so we have to change it. My Instagram name was Drama Relax, so that's what we went with. It was just a quick, 15-minute conversation. In hindsight, I don't know if that I would have went with Drama Relax. I don't know if I loved that name at the time.
Yeah.
I kind of just wanted to be you
wanted to get the gears going,
Right,
and also appease the people
Right,
that just
right.
fucking signed you.
I didn't want to cause any sort of issue. I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever you guys want to do, because I was just so grateful that I was in that position. Which, that's what you want to take that into consideration and really think about your plan before you get in these situations. Because if you don't have a plan and then you get thrown into the situation, you can make a decision that you don't really want to do.
Right.
Looking back at it, do you wish you could have been like, yo, I'll call you back? Or
Like think about it. Or
I think I was like, okay, well, if I'm not Johnny Drama, then what the fuck else am I gonna be? Like, what else is there? What's my other option?
Yeah.
There was
what about
no other option.
what about Johnny Drum? Would that have been?
Nah, because I was.
Baby Drama was already out.
Because listen, I was obviously running with Drama. That was the key.
You couldn't just be Drama?
Well, there's a lot of dramas. I don't think I could have just been Drama.
Okay, that's fair.
That would have been hard.
Yeah, there's too many dramas. So yeah, it is what it is. But it's okay because I think the Drama Relax kind of, the two words are kind of like contradicting words, and maybe it sums up who I am.
Yeah.
So
I fuck with
It's
it.
like a battery. It's like a positive and a negative.
right, that just kind of describes my life because everything's a problem for me.
And speaking of which, the label situation, you brought it up. From the time you separated from J Stash and whatnot to the signing with Universal?
Interscope.
Excuse me. How did that come about and whatnot? Because for Long Island, I'm sure you're well aware how much of a big deal that was. Like, anybody who works or is passionate within music from Long Island knew about that situation, was super proud of you. Of course, you probably had haters, but tell us about that situation, because you literally put Long Island on the map, and I was personally so fucking proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
Like, that shit was amazing.
Thank you. I don't know how many people felt that way. It was like a real blur to me the whole time. I got into that situation because I really owe it to just like momentum and just like things falling into place. There's a lot of luck and just it was just right time, right place. But when I got signed, I had such a I think I had the wrong mentality for a lot of it, because I think I was more focused on like, oh, why am I not getting acknowledgement? Why am I not being praised for accomplishing this? And what I should have been focusing on is what I focused on to get into that position, which was, dropping the right music, having the right content, having the right music videos, and just making the right moves. I was just too caught up in.
You were just worried about the wrong things.
Right. It's just, and not just it wasn't just music related either. It was just a lot of things came from that situation. And we're not even talking about a big situation. I mean, it's not like I had a hit song and blew up and became a famous guy. This was a small thing.
I think it's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Unwanted pressure.
It was a lot of pressure, and it was just something that I was young and I wasn't smart, and that's just what it comes down to. I wasn't smart enough.
What would you have done differently then?
Like I said, you gotta. First of all, you have to have a game plan. You gotta stick to it, and you can't be afraid of somebody disagreeing. I was just being a yes man. I was like, okay, let's go in this direction. That's fine. You guys paid me. You guys are doing this for me. You're bringing me out to LA. You're getting Tory Lanez on my song. Okay. And then eventually, what you see is that doesn't really that doesn't necessarily guarantee a path for success. Because I got the best treatment. I had such good treatment. You would have thought I really was, this Joey Manda, who signed me to Interscope. They put me on tour, 2 tours. They gave me huge artists up for features. I was shooting $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 music videos. I was just, they got me a house in LA for 6 months.
Wow.
They really put me in a position to win. So I don't know why things didn't work. Maybe they did if you look at the things I learned from it. Right. Maybe that was the purpose of it. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of calculation, I think, and you have to be prepared. And you also have to have the right people around you, which I did at certain points, and then I had issues. And
Was it
just
the
young.
management too? Like the manager you came in with? I don't know if
Mike
things
was
switched up or.
Mike is somebody that was
And what's your relationship with him now?
okay. So Mike is Mike is like my childhood friend. Shout out to Mike. He was kind of like this. He was kind of always the only guy that showed me some sort of support with the music, and he was the first person to approach me on like kind of a business level to manage me or to just help. Right?
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, let me help. And me and him kind of just went crazy together for a year and just flew out to a bunch of different places. We spent a lot of time going to LA. We did shows all over the place. We went, we just did a lot of shit, me and him. He was behind, doing the Revolution shows and getting me Sweet 16 gigs and just doing all these performances that I was doing. And, listen, when I got signed, he benefited as well. But yeah, things happened, and he was definitely somebody that was a beneficial person to me, and I wish things were different.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of good things to say about him, and
Right.
there was one time I was with a group of people. We went to he had like a podcast at the time, or something of the sort.
What was it called? Audacity. Yeah. Shout out to Audacity.
And we were having a conversation before or after the show, and we were speaking about you, and he had brought up like, after he got signed, things kind of went left, and he said he wished things were different, stuff like that. Like he had great things to say about you, but he did mention like that, like after you got signed, things got different.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to really speak on, but
It's
that's
hard. I think it's
my
hard.
fault. My fault.
I think it's hard when you go into a situation with people that gave you a lump sum of money. You wanna make things right, not only for yourself, but you want to be in return of like, they're giving me all this money. I want to like fuck with them and what they're doing. They might have assigned a manager to you. They might have put pressure on you. Who knows?
Well, first of all, when something like that happens, it's gonna boost your ego, which is what it did to me, and it boosted it to a high place. And I'm walking around thinking I'm who I am. And listen, there's nothing I could. I don't fault myself too much for it or regret the way I acted too much, because I was just younger,
Right.
and I just didn't know any better, and that's it. I'm not.
That's really dope that you can say that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to understand and self-reflect. I mean, I'm not that way anymore. And I was very caring and giving then.
You definitely were.
Right.
Definitely were.
I don't think. I mean, you've known me for quite some time. Can you say that I've ever acted a certain type of way or acted out of
Absolutely
line?
not.
No. I mean, I don't think
Absolutely
anybody
not.
can really say that. So
I
that's
would
not who I am.
say when you like to mention like your peak, I don't ever really refer to your career in that way, but when you speak of like your peak, I was around you a lot, and I did not feel that whatsoever, like any type of like ego or anything like that.
Right.
So
I wasn't.
I just
that-
want to
yeah.
reassure you
Thank
on
you.
that.
No, I wasn't like that. It was just like certain things. Just
It is what it is.
you got to just
man.
learn from it.
Would you say back then, did you expect, like, let's say, all right, you're in the moment. Did you think that would last forever?
100%.
Everybody
Yes.
does.
Yes. That's a good point to make, because
Yeah.
I never.
You didn't think like, oh shit,
No.
tomorrow this could be gone?
No. I was like, first of all, with that goes to money, that goes to just the momentum. When I got dropped from the label, it was like someone shot me. Like it was like crazy.
Wow.
It was like somebody passed away in my life. That's how it felt, because it was so out of nowhere. And
Was it like a call, an email? How
it
does
was
that
a
even
call. My
work?
lawyer called me, and he was like, "Hey man, listen, Interscope wants to part ways." And I was just about to shoot a music video that like 10 minutes before
No
I was about to
way.
shoot the music video, and I got this call, and I'm like, "Damn."
That's crazy.
And yeah, that was crazy, because it was just like it really put into perspective like me not focusing on what I should have been focusing on the whole time for the most part, and just losing it. But again, there's many positives that came from me getting released. I learned a lot of things. So things like that, serious things that really could set you back and damage your confidence, can be turned around into
It's a
very
blessing.
positive things and
A blessing
blessings.
in
Yeah,
disguise.
and it was a blessing for me to be released because it taught me how to become really an adult and just figure shit out. And ever since then, that's why I'm still sitting here and
Yeah,
we're still
hell yeah.
talking about
That's-
shit and everything's all good.
There's a different
Facts.
perspective to be had too. Like you have yours, but also like the game was different then. The formula to sign somebody, throw a bunch of big features, do the big videos, it's not as prevalent as today. Like it's so obvious when somebody is having that path written out for them,
Yeah.
and it's not really received well these days when
Yeah.
that happens.
Because we can
With-
see right through it.
If let's say you were to get signed today, how would the path be different? Like you built the momentum. Let's go back to 2016, 17, 18 when you was building the momentum and somebody approaches you these days. How would you go about it differently?
I think you have to understand your value and you have to understand your circumstance. If I was on the street right now and somebody came up to me and was like, "Yo, we love your music. We want to sign you for
You're going to take
20 grand." I'd be like, "Okay, perfect." So it's really circumstantial.
Wow, that's
If
real as fuck.
if you need the money.
right, and it's not just about money necessarily. I mean, listen, that's mostly what it's about. But it's also about ownership and it's about creative direction and power, which I think a lot of artists nowadays are able to move further along in their careers without having some major label come and interfere. But for me, maybe it's not so much of a money thing at this point, but it's more of how do I make sure that this is something that
Can benefit.
right it benefits me
Sustain.
long term, sustain, right? How can I sustain this and just make it so that maybe it's not just about me making music. It's also about business
Relationships and
business
whatnot?
relationships and business opportunities that can come from this. When you have a relationship with a label, especially somebody of the size of Interscope, that's like you're going and playing for the Knicks.
Yeah.
When you play for the Knicks, you got there's other things that are going to come from that, regardless to whether you're starting on the team or
Right.
if you played for the Knicks, you have doors are going to open for you, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what it was like for Interscope, and that's how it should be if you know how to move. So it's not necessarily just like, okay, great, you get signed to a label, here we go, but you have to understand a much larger play, and it takes a lot of thought. You gotta really understand yourself and what you want to do. So, but right now, I don't know about signing. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making music for myself at this point anymore. I don't know what I'm doing.
Speak on that, because there's a gap, right, from being signed to now, and you just mentioned that. Like, what does that mean for you? Like, for somebody who might be going through this or wants to know what's been Johnny Drum's mindset.
Well, so I got dropped from the label in 2020. Obviously, COVID had played a part. I was about to go on another tour. I think I was going to go on tour with Black Bear.
Wow.
That would've been fire.
That's hard.
And I was like, yo, has to be crazy. Black Bear at that time, too.
Yeah,
Black Bear was
hell yeah.
the man. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. COVID came. I think the label was just probably cutting the bottom end of people, and that's where I fell into. So, okay.
Really doing that now. Sure.
Right. So, okay. Now I'm independent. Within that summer, it was summertime of 2020, I met somebody named Soraya. She is a music industry person who just kind of figured it out for herself, just like we all do. Figured it out, made a lot of moves, got herself in a position to and she manages producers. Her daughter's an artist. She managed a songwriter and a producer that made this record called "Go Crazy" by Chris Brown and Young Thug. I don't even know when that
Smash.
came
Wow,
out.
that's fire.
Smash.
So they had that record, and she heard one of my songs through somebody, I think, through Chef actually. This guy Chef Pasquale.
I've heard of that name.
People know him. People know him. He did a lot.
Yeah,
of
the
stuff.
song that they say Drake bit off X for.
Right, that's right. Yeah, him and Ness. Right. He did that. Right. So me and him had a good relationship even past. He's actually the guy that put me with the Drake guys.
Yeah.
But he linked me with Soraya, and she wanted to buy a song off of me or whatever, and we just kind of started sending me beats. And this was the first time that I'm like, okay, maybe I'm songwriting right now, because it doesn't seem like she's interested in any of my songs. She's just taking my songs and like remaking them and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'm songwriting here. And here's another thing that I never realized. I got signed for a big publishing deal at the same time when I signed a record label deal. But I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to care about songwriting. I want to be the artist. But when you realize that A, you could do both, and B, the songwriting is a whole other world that you could actually do in a much easier way.
Yep.
But so within like the first couple months of me knowing Soraya sent me Selena, which is the song was originally called Selena. It's now called Pop Star Shorty with Tyga and Ty Dolla $igns. She sent me the beat. I made the hook. That was in 2020.
Wow.
From that moment that I made the hook, she sent me a video of Tyga and Ty Dolla $ign on the song. I was like, okay, great. I have a song with Tyga and Ty Dolla $ign, and that's also what was being told to me. So I was like, okay, I'm back. Like, and this was recent. Like, so right when I got this was it was short after I got dropped.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back, bounce back with this single with Tyga and Ty Dolla $ign. So I'm like, I'm up.
Mm-hmm. Let's get it.
And then just
And
months.
this is with you on the song, or you as a writer?
This was me on the song. This was my hook, my vocals. My vocals are still on the song. My vocals are credited on the song.
That's fire.
But at this point, it was just I was the hook. But months just kept passing, and it just nothing happened. It never came out, and I was being told that it was gonna drop. It was gonna drop. It was gonna drop.
And this is 4 or 5 years
Right.
ago.
This is 5. Yeah, this is 4 or 5 years ago. So around like 2022, 2023, I was like, fuck it. I don't know what's going on. At this point, I was really ready to give up. I'm always ready to give up. Like any day, I'm like, I'm done, because I hate it half the time.
Fair.
I don't know. I mean, people.
Not the music part, but the just whole thing around it.
I just hate everything. Yeah, it's just
keeping up with the Joneses.
right. It could be incredibly difficult mentally.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I commented under Tyga's post one day, and I was like, "Yo, you got to drop that Selena record, because that's what it was originally called."
And
And,
what was the post about? Was
It was just
a fit pic?
it was just like a picture of him.
Oh, okay.
He just posted.
That
on
was a
his
shot in
Instagram.
the dark, man.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And he followed me right away.
No.
I was like,
word?
oh wow. And then I DM'd him and I was like, hey man, thanks for the follow. And every time like one of these big guys follow me, I go crazy in the DMs. I'm just like, this is crazy. You're
Yeah.
a fucking legend. Like 30 exclamation marks. People tell me like I gotta chill with the exclamation marks. I don't care about that.
Fuck that, man.
I'm gonna keep saying exclamation marks.
That should be your new name.
I'll send that all the time. And you know
That'll
what?
be hard.
I don't care. If an artist is like, this guy's a loser, he's using 5 exclamation marks,
Shut
then
the
fucking
fuck
then don't even talk to me,
Suck a
dude.
cock.
Right. So
Okay, so you sent the DM.
right, so I'm going crazy in his DMs.
Left you on red.
No, he answered me. He's like, "Yo, yeah, that song's on the album."
Oh, fuck.
I'm like, "Okay, great." And this is in 2022, probably. Okay, so now this album still doesn't drop for another 3 years after this interaction.
Wow.
So he's like, "Yo, send me more vibes." Another year passes. I emailed him because he gave me his email. He never answered me. Another year passes. He DM'd me out of the blue one day and was like, "Yo, I want you to work on this one beat. Send me a beat." I got his number, and then that's how our relationship grew. But I was pushing him because my source, who was Soraya, she was doing everything she could for me, but I was like, I gotta make more happen here.
Yeah,
So
you gotta put it in your own.
right, so I
hands.
just went for that, and me and him built a good relationship at this point. So, and me and him have a lot of songs together that he didn't use. And still to this day, me and him are working together. So yeah, that's how that came about. As I said on before, I've had a lot of opportunities. The Drake situation.
You want to
Yeah,
talk
we're
about
gonna
it?
Get into that.
Yeah, I'll explain that. I mean, I linked up with Big Sean, which I said on the first podcast too. I had a lot of songwriting opportunities with big guys, not big guys. And I would consider Tyga a big guy. He might not be the most popular guy anymore now,
Legend, though.
but he's a legend for sure.
That's it.
Legend,
Bitch, I'm the
yeah.
shit.
Right.
He could
Well
be in
done
Vegas with it
mixtapes.
every day.
He's
Last King, snapbacks.
Right, he's a legend.
They don't know, man.
he's a legend. He's also doing the Twitch stream now, which I think is making him.
It's giving
If
him
we
a
really
resurgence.
want to, if we really want to talk about it, if it wasn't for Tyga, Chris Brown would have never bounced back.
And
Period. Tyga brought Chris Brown out of the mud after the Rihanna situation.
Right, he was supporting Chris Brown,
Big
and also
time.
Tyga
He was the only one.
Right, Tyga was Young Money.
Slept in his
Tyga,
crib for months, and he's the one that told Breezy, like, bro, you're Chris Brown. Like, get out of this rut. So, anyways, yeah, shout out
right?
Tyga.
So that's good. And from what I understand, they have a wonderful relationship, and I think they're doing a lot of things. So, Tyga was the first guy that followed through, giving me an opportunity, and no matter what he's ever up to, he has classic, timeless music that everybody knows, and that's always going to be the case. And that's why he could just do whatever he wants.
And that's something that's why people come to you for the writing creds.
Right.
You got 6 songs on the new Tyga record.
Sheesh.
And
6
that's
is crazy.
a lot. That's not too bad, you know? Not
That's
many
amazing.
people, especially from Long Island, but just in general, can say that. Getting song placements with somebody of that caliber. You mentioned a little bit how you got into it. It took like 5 years to get one of the placements, right?
Yeah.
The Selena record that turned into, what's the name now?
Pop Star Shorty, yep.
Pop Star Shorty.
Yep, Ty Dolla $ign.
I really want to know
And-
how that even came back in then. Like, where did it just...
So it's
It
pretty,
just came out of nowhere
right?
again?
It's pretty
Like-
crazy to think that. I think this is. I've seen this happen with some of these artists when I link up with them. Like, I don't think I've ever sat on a song for 5 years before I dropped it. You know, that's pretty crazy. A lot can just the sound of music changes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure in 5 years. I mean,
Yeah.
much less than that. So it's pretty crazy that he sat on a song for 5 years. But I think that says something about the song because the song, it's not really a, it's just a vibe of a song. I mean, it's not a specific sound or anything like that.
So crazy because it sounds just like you. Like it sounds like something you would make.
Well, the hook, yeah. I mean, the beat is fire. Shout out to Kenyal. Shout out to Yumi also. Just that whole Benji team. They're great over there at producing, and they got a lot of great things coming their way. Soraya is a great leader for them, and
But I have to ask, would you have? Are you glad that it's just the writing credits, or would you prefer to be?
I wanted the feature.
Anybody would have preferred to be on the song.
Yeah, I wanted the feature 100%. I asked for the feature.
And they said, "Hell no."
Well, Tyga allowed me to have vocal credits. So if you go to like,
So it was all him that had the I want him on it.
Like
It was
the
his
say-so?
decision. Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He actually, what's interesting is the person that so when I linked up with Tyga, I went to LA and went to his house and we worked on things together. We worked on the intro to his album together. That was the only thing we worked on, so thank God that made it because it adds more value to that trip.
That's what's up.
But the girl that he has who is his engineer. If you watch his Twitch streams, you'll see her. I think she's starting to like gain a lot of clout from his Twitch streams. Sam, shout out to Sam. She's from LA.
She's
Right?
from Long Island.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
she's from Long Island.
Sammy Sosa.
And that's his. I mean, any single time he does anything, Sam's with him. And one of the main people that are mixing the music behind the scenes, who actually mixed my vocals onto that song, is this guy named Dylan, who is also from Long Island. Who I don't know really everything he did, but he definitely had an involvement in mixing the whole project.
Wow.
So it's pretty insane to think that 3 Long Island people are involved on the Tyga album.
That is pretty wild.
But yeah, I wish I had the feature, because if I had the feature, I think that would have started me into maybe a little bit more into focusing on making music again, like kind of going a little hard with it. Plus as a feature, you kind of just sit back and relax and let that thing go. It's so much better because everything is being controlled by the main artists. You're just along for the ride, really. But yeah, so we had that. I think at one point there was going to be a couple more than the ones that he ultimately went with. But hopefully, you know, those will see the light on something else. But yeah, the thing about it was that it was just such a long wait. And from being released from the label, ever since then, I kind of have just been scraping by musically to try to figure out what is my next move. What am I going to do? I've lost I feel like, fan base from the Drama Relax time when I was with the label, because that was very heavily like that was brought to me by doing the shows. That came from, I got a fan base and I got a big following from the label. So what they were doing worked. It just, in my mind, wasn't the fan base that I ultimately
it's
wanted.
Your community
right.
that you built. Yeah.
There was people like when I went on tour, and another crazy thing is when you go on tour, you see that how important a live show is, especially when you're performing in front of a couple hundred people. As long as you just kind of do okay, unless certain places.
Unless you can.
Right, and certain rap shows, I think maybe it might be different. I was on R&B tours. Mike Stud, shout out to Mike Stud.
Yeah, they have a little more standards.
Yeah,
the
right.
People in the crowd, they want to see a performance.
Right. So, but in my instance, since Mike Stud wasn't that big at the time, now he's super big. Somo is a low key guy. I don't know if you guys know him. He's like a YouTube singer. Their fan bases were cool. Definitely more so Somos than Mike Stud. But like for Somos, as long as I just went up there and like
did your thing.
People were going nuts, man. I wasn't even doing anything really. I mean, I was doing a good job.
Oh my God!
Yeah, give yourself
a lot
credit.
of girls.
That's that fan base.
Right.
They put you on the
Right. So to me, I was like, oh, I don't know about this fan base. I want to be doing the rap shit. Again, stupid of me, because I should have been like, okay, well, who cares what the fan base is?
They fuck with you for
They're
you.
fucking with me, and any fan base is a good fan base. It doesn't matter really.
All right, you had to learn.
Right.
that.
I don't really.
Overthinking process.
Right. It's like, look, if you have a big fan base, but it's not your fan base that you want, that's not. You could have worse problems.
Where
I suppose.
Especially
right?
girls. It was all girls.
and they make shit move.
And the
like
girls
a-
stay, bro.
The girls stay. That's right. They'll buy the shirt. They'll follow you on social medias. You know, the girls
They leave
wanna
the
support.
comments. They're gonna DM.
Right.
They show love. Crazy.
Girls have more girls. You know, a guy might not be as much. Girls are coming through with 10 girls. You know, so it's like the whole circle is will become fans of you.
Facts. Why do you think A Boogie's still out here doing arenas?
Right,
His whole
there's
fan base is girls.
There's a lot of guys that
I'm being real.
that understand. I mean, I when I went to the Tyga show just recently at the UBS Arena, he was performing with Nicki Minaj, and Tyga got me in, and I was with him, and it was the second time I saw him in person, and
When was this?
This was in November.
Wow.
And I was hanging with him, and that was good because I was like in the VIP section. It was great.
Wow.
But I saw the crowd. There must have been 20,000 people there probably. All girls. Now it was for Nicki Minaj, and it was, you know, just that it was that fan base. Tyga's probably saying, okay, I don't know if I ultimately love this fan base or if this is my desired fan base, but it's 20,000 people, so
Yeah.
who cares?
Well, he kind of dove into it too. The last 5-6 years, he really fucks with the girls now. Like he makes a bunch of club records.
I think that's
for
all
the
he cares
girls.
about. Yeah, he's a guy that only cares about that.
Yeah.
Which is fair. At least that's
knows
what he
his
wants to
lane.
make. Yeah,
Right.
facts.
And he's somebody that, you know, can make that catchy club banging song. So, you know, it's good to. I'm happy to be working with an artist that at any moment, you know, can have a big moment. Whether even Tyga's so big that he's the type of guy that has moments that might not even be music related. He just does something. It's a moment. He dates somebody. It's a moment. So it's like those type of people. Those are the guys you want because that sparks things and sparks attention. So yeah.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, very happy. And what I was saying was it took so long, and I had to wait so long for it to finally happen, that what I learned from that was patience. And I had to, because I knew I had Tyga music with Tyga for years, and I had nothing else. So it was tough.
And you weren't able to do anything about it. So that's the worst.
So
Yeah, and I'm not a talker. I don't talk about
yeah,
stuff I have really.
I was
like
gonna
that.
get into that. You ever thought about doing like blog posts where like you list like certain credentials you have, like writing credits to invoke more people to reach out for writing stuff?
Well,
Because that's not really your.
I know, it's like, how do you
forte.
advertise it? Right. I mean, even with it's a tough thing to advertise. Sometimes I see.
First of all, it's tough because a lot of the artists don't want people knowing that you wrote for them.
Right.
So.
Right. So that's why. Look, nowadays when you look at the Apple and Spotify, you see my name, you see the credit. So that's why it's not. That's a public thing. So I don't mind speaking about that. And also, it's not the same song. Just speaking from my experience, it's Tyga is making the fucking song. It's Tyga.
Right.
I can make the song or help this or that. If it's not Tyga, who cares? So Tyga's the guy here. That's just the bottom line. Yeah, I see people's Instagram pages and they're like, some producer, and they're like, produce this and this and this and this and this and did this. Who cares?
That's like really 2016 shit.
Just who cares?
2018.
Like the credits and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think that that's really matters. Yeah, it's an advertisement for yourself and what you've done, but I don't really. There's so many people that I've connected with and follow me that say that they produce. Go look at a Drake song. There's 20 guys on that. There's 20 producers on that. Who cares? You know, it's like, I think what's more valuable is just the relationship that you have with the people. So that's why I don't really talk about or advertise it, because, and plus even when you do, people, you think people are gonna care, but people people don't.
Yeah.
You think you do something and people are really gonna care about it, and sometimes that's not the case at all. And you can't have that expectation, because then you're just gonna be upset.
Yeah. And you can't force people to like, yo, care. Man.
Right.
Give a shit.
Right, and then what happens? You get mad at your friends for not doing something or this and that. It's like, people don't really care. So it's just.
And people have lives.
Right. People are, not everybody's thinking about you like maybe you think people are. But that's why I care about my relationship, how that's going. You want to nurture your relationships and grow them, because those people don't really care about my Instagram and that type of stuff. That none of that is what got me any of these relationships. It's just the music is what did everything. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Before we get into hot takes, you had mentioned Drake. You've had potential co-writing credits on songs with Drake. Can you go through like a little list of the people you've been featured with, maybe wrote for, and obviously get into the Drake situation a little bit?
With the Drake thing, here's what fucked that up. This is how I got into that situation. I was sending out music to Oliver, if you guys know who Oliver is.
OVO
Okay?
Oliver,
right.
for sure.
Oliver. I guessed his email. I just did like Oliver at octobersveryown.com or something like that.
Okay.
Sent music, just guessed it. And the reason why I guessed it was because years ago there was some other Drake affiliated guy, and I DM'd him or something, and I was like, yo, listen to this, bro. This shit is hard. Like Drake would sound crazy on this. And he responded to me, and he was like, don't ever tell me what to do or something. I was like, all right.
Shit, okay.
I was like, whatever, man.
Holy fuck.
He was like, you shouldn't have to speak on your music. Like, let people decide. I was like, you're tripping.
Yeah. Damn.
But he had like at October's Very Own or something in his email or something. So I just guessed Oliver's. Sent him like 10 songs that I already had out. 100X, which is the Bad Karma song that Drake remixed, happened to be one of them.
My life is full of drama. I just wanna smash, don't wanna charm. Ooh, talk about the boy and you get karma.
Yeah, real bad karma. Condo in Miami, so that shit the trauma.
I guess he cut it. He was gonna use it on More Life, is what I was told. He changed a lot of it up, so it wasn't like a straight for one for one thing. He changed things up. The song was already out.
Which song are you talking about?
This is 100X.
Okay.
My version of the song was already out. I'm sure they got word of that and were like, we can't fuck with this. Of course. I don't know what I was thinking or doing. I don't know what. I mean, I think I was saying, hey guys, this is out, but I don't know. I don't remember.
So you dropped it.
It was already it was already so out.
So you were looking for them to utilize a reference of it, and they were taking too long, so you dropped it, or
No, it was out when I sent it.
Oh, shit.
And then Drake,
Okay.
and then because this was just like a Hail Mary. This was like, he responded to me and he was like, yo, can you send me the files for the song? And I was like,
Sure.
oh no, what do I do? What do I do now?
Yeah.
So you sent it.
No, I didn't send it. I put him in touch with the producer. I was like, guys,
Was there
keep
ever
me in the loop.
Was there ever a thought to like, let me put down the song for now? Because
Right. Yeah,
you
would think so.
you're
right?
making
Take it down.
noise, but I'm sure like Oliver is probably not well aware that it's already out.
I don't know what I was thinking, man. At that point too, I was like killing it. I did re-release it with Chef. Me and Chef re-released it. Right. I don't really know what happened. I don't really know what my mindset was. But long story short, it got leaked. which is that's crazy. You
What
know,
got
Oh,
leaked
the
out?
Drake.
the Drake version of the
vocals.
song got leaked.
Yes, but you said on the last last episode that did he reach out to you or you reached out to him first?
I reached out to him.
And you
The reason why I reached out to him
weren't
was because,
geeking out when it said scene.
Oh yeah, I was we're sending him paragraphs.
How many exclamation
I
points?
was like,
did
bro,
send
you
Drake?
are the best ever. This is what happened. Just some fucking bullshit was going on because it got leaked or whatever. So I just hit him because this is what happened. I was like, okay, this is kind of getting some attention because I'm going on Twitter and it's Biscuits was saying stuff about it, I think, and people weren't happy about the situation, but I didn't leak it, so it doesn't like. What are you gonna say to me? I didn't leak it. I'm
Yeah.
just as fucking shocked as you guys.
Right.
So I saw that it was getting attention on Twitter. I went to Drake because I've DM'd him my whole life, basically just saying I love you, man. Like,
Yeah.
I love your music. You're such an inspiration. I've just been doing this forever,
Yeah.
which I'm sure a lot of people do. I've just will hit him and be like, yo, I like this song. Just doing it for who knows, you know. I go to his DMs and now my messages are seen by him. So I'm like, okay, he is aware of what's happening right now. So I hit him and I'm like, yo, man, I had nothing to do with the leak. I don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And he hit me back and he was just like, yeah, I no sweat. I understand. Me and him kind of had a bit of a back and forth for a little bit. And that was it. And then
What kind of back and forth? Like a understanding back and forth,
Yeah,
or like an actual like confrontation back and forth?
No, it was completely love and nice.
Okay,
He, I said, dude, I don't want any problem. I'm not out here saying because when these things happen to somebody like a Drake, you know how people get. Like, people start going crazy. They're like, he stole my song. Why you would ever do that, I don't know.
Right.
You save that for the behind the scenes. If something really happens legally, you got to take that route behind the scenes, I think. Because it's not worth, the guy's Drake, man. Like, what you don't.
You're gonna ruin that relationship.
You want
forever?
to figure out there's a play there.
But didn't that leak years later though?
No, yes, it leaked years later from when he
Like
from
right
the,
before Certified Lover Boy
yes,
came out.
it leaked from the time he recorded to when it leaked there was a big time.
Yeah, that was
There's
like
time
3
between
years
it.
at least.
But yeah, no, the conversation was great. I was just telling him whatever you want me to do as far as making a statement about the situation. He's like, look, whatever you want to do. There's no bad blood
He don't
here.
give a fuck, honestly.
No, he was just happy that I think, and he said this. I'm not interpreting it. This is what he said. He was happy about the fact that I reached out and I was cool with him, and I was just like, yeah, bro, I'm a huge fan, and
Yeah,
that's it.
that's dope.
And then when I Took It Personal, which was an album I dropped in 2021, I think, I hit him and I was like, yo, let me use this song on this album with your verse. And he was like, okay, let me hear the song with me and you on it. And even that, I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Right.
My heart's
And
pounding
then-
just you talking about it.
And I was freaking out about that. And I was at the dentist when he responded, like in the middle of my cleaning. I was like,
You're like,
I'm out of here. Right in the middle of the cleaning. I was like, take
And
this.
he said it with mad
Take the
exclamation
bib
points
off.
too.
I'm out of here. Bill, send me a bill. Ran home, put it together, sent it to him, and he never responded after that. And then I had something where I told him I was gonna beat him in beer pong or something, and he responded to that with like an emoji, and that was it. So I have a little bit of a funny history with him. I think what matters is that I wasn't. First of all, I never posted my DMs. I have multiple DMs with him where we're going back and forth. I'm not posting it. I'm not really talking about it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's nothing. I lost in the situation. Things could have worked out better. I lost in it.
You lost in the situation, but you handled it with grace.
Right, and that's
you
why-
handled it how you should have.
You could have done like what all the other rappers do. Go on Instagram live, man, fuck Drake,
Right,
man,
right.
he a hoe.
I would never do. Yeah, I would never ever do
Or the
something
Ice
like
Spice method, posted
Yeah.
DMs and shit.
I would never do
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, but okay. So
Alright.
who else? I mean, obviously I have the Tory shit. Tory Lanez was a label play. Jeremiah was a label play. Two guys that I had good interactions with. I ran into Tory a couple times. I met Tory before the label, like 2 years before the label, because
wow.
I had some connections in Miami who were friends with Tory. This guy Smurf, shout out to Smurf. He flew me down to Miami, or somebody flew me. Zoe Dolls.
Zoe Dollar.
Zoe
is-
Dollars.
Zoe Dolls
Crazy.
flew me down to Miami, and I was hanging out with him and some other guys, and they brought me to Tory's house. And this is when Tory was making his best album. It was called
The Brady Bunch looking one.
that one, yeah. Sorry or something.
Trippie Redd on it.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, really one of the best albums.
Banger,
ever.
yeah.
He was making that, and he's like showing us that album, and I was like freaking out, smoking weed, and I got too high, and I had to leave. And actually, when I was there with him, we were smoking, and I was playing him like Chanel Love.
Love that song.
Yeah, I was playing him that and like Malibu and some of these songs that I had, and he was like, "Yo, bro, like I think you're gonna get it. Like I think you're gonna make it." And I was like, "Thanks, man. Like I hope one day me and you get to do something." And then like a year later, I had a song with him from the label. So that's kind of like a crazy thing.
That is dope.
But he, you know.
So you mentioned Tory Lanez, Jeremiah,
great guy.
Lil TJ too.
Little TJ, yeah, label play.
He's an asshole.
I did the show. Oh,
anyways,
is he?
I
don't know.
Who else?
He
Big Sean,
he
right?
spit on a security guard. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Anyways,
Lil TJ's an
Big Sean
asshole.
is crazy though. That's fire.
Big
How
Sean,
did
you
that
got
come
writers
about?
Big Sean. So I was out in LA. So when I was with the label, I would have these periods of time where I would go out for like 2-3 weeks, and I would just simply be going out there for studio sessions. So I would just do like 12-hour studio shifts in Santa Monica with different songwriters and producers. And the time, like it, when I make music, I make it 7-8 o'clock in the morning on like Saturday, Sunday, and like I will dabble with it throughout the rest of the day if I'm excited about something. But I usually keep it in the morning, and I keep it the window's pretty short. I like to do it on my lunch break when I'm at work, because I live close to where I work. I just kind of like to just like throw a little bit in there. So now all of a sudden I'm doing 12-hour studio sessions, and we're starting at like 12 at night, and I'm like, guys,
damn,
this is not me. I don't operate this way. Keep in mind, I'm getting hammered every time. We're just not. I'm not like sitting there.
It's not optimal, man.
Right? And plus, I'm uncomfortable because every single time I'm in the studio session, I'm meeting new people, and that's kind of difficult. When you make music and you're in a room with 4 or 5 people that you just met.
That is awkward.
It's a little, it's a little. It's not like it's a bad thing, but it's
a little intimidating.
Right.
Man.
It could just be, especially when some of these people are like working with bigger people than you, or maybe, or I always felt like everybody had something better to do than to be sitting here with me. So that was probably just something, that was my thing. But so yeah, I would go out there, and one day when I was out in LA, Big Sean followed me on Instagram just randomly. I was just in my hotel. I woke up. I saw that he followed me. I DM'd him.
Let's go.
Classic me.
Go,
mad exclamation marks.
I'm like, yo, you're a legend. I'm like, yo, you are a legend.
It's a theme here.
Right. Because you have to do that though, right? Would you not do something like that?
Yes, I
Right?
would. No, I would. Yes.
Right. Because I think it would be
hilarious.
crazy to have these people follow me and like I don't.
You have to, bro.
Right. You just
word.
don't even
right?
follow
For
back.
sure.
Yeah, word. Right. Imagine you didn't follow back, just didn't DM.
Right.
Like,
So immediately, plus I was out in LA at the time too, so the timing of it was good. So I DM'd him, I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, let's work together. I'm like, okay, great. I'm in LA.
that's crazy.
He's like, okay, I'm in Wyoming for Kanye because it was when that's what Kanye was doing. He's like, I'll be back in like 3 days. I'm like, perfect. I'll still be here.
Oh, I'll be here.
I'll be here. And if and at that time, I could have just stayed there if I wanted to. Like it wasn't like I was on a time schedule or
Yeah.
anything. With the Tyga shit, when I went to see Tyga, like I only had a time. I had to come back. I had to do what I had.
Yeah.
So, I went over to his crib too, and we linked. And again, just me being unexperienced. When I went to his house, he was the nicest person ever. He gave me a tour of his house. So for like the first hour, we're just walking around his house. He's showing me stuff he's got. He's showing me like shoes that he's got, like really crazy level thing to happen. I was smoking a cigarette outside, talking with him. It was just me and him, like in his backyard. We were just like talking.
That's fire.
By the way, I quit smoking cigarettes and I quit drinking. Just want everybody to understand, and vaping.
Nice.
It's impressive, bro. It's not easy to do.
Listen,
bro.
it's want everybody to know because I used to do my interviews and I was vaping and drinking, and I'm not doing that now.
Let's go, boy. That's
But
what
at that
I'm talking about.
time, I was getting crazy. So I'm drinking champagne, I'm smoking cigarettes with him, and I'm just thinking we're hanging out, and you know, he wanted me to be there to work on music with him and to work. That was the purpose of this. It wasn't just to hang out.
Right.
And I just completely missed that. And got too drunk and just fucked up. Not that me and him also still have a good relationship. Me and him we've talked many times afterwards, but you know, I just didn't realize it at the moment. So he was a great guy.
You're just excited, bro. You're like, I get it, bro. I get it.
It was just crazy. And I'm pulling up, and you know, I went there by myself.
That's a huge thing too. You got nobody with you, bro.
Right. A lot of the times that's the case when I do these things. I'm just going by myself. Other people most of the people that I was around definitely would have been like that. But Rabs, to give Rabs credit, Rabs often checks me and just kind of, I think, will snap me out of something or just remind me of the mission here.
The goal, yeah.
Right. So he does
if I was
that.
there too, I would be like, yo, bro.
Yeah. Well,
Get in that
let's
booth,
get this
kid.
going.
and we were actually recording too. Me and him. He brought up. An engineer came, and now I got too drunk.
In the booth type shit.
I got too drunk at his crib.
Off
He had a
champagne,
studio.
or there
Off
was other
champagne.
shit?
I brought champagne, drank the whole bottle, because we're sitting there having a conversation. He's telling me, he's like, yo, the reason why he followed me was because a couple months ago, me and Jeremiah have the song All That, which is still running up. I mean, that's almost at 8 million streams. That song still does well.
That's fine.
Probably my most successful song ever. Me and Jeremiah shot a music video for that song.
It's amazing.
And that was another crazy day. Jeremiah, awesome guy. He hung out with Big Sean, I guess, at some point, and was like, Big Sean was looking for somebody to give him some ideas and stuff. And Jeremiah was like, yo, I did a song with this guy. And that's how Big Sean got to me, because Jeremiah pitched me to him. When I got there, we're sitting there talking. He's like, yo, I know about you. I'm like, oh. Because keep in mind, when he DM'd me, up until the point I'm sitting in his house, I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
How did you even find me? Is it because you think I'm a dope artist?
Yeah.
I doubt it, because I don't have the clout like that. He's like, yo, I know about you. He knew about me from other situations.
Okay.
And then I guess maybe he told me about the Jeremiah told him about me.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there and we're talking just like this. We're talking about, we're talking about Kanye. We're talking about Drake. We're talking about these things. I'm listening to him tell me stories.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm freaking out. It's a crazy situation. So I'm drinking. That's why I bought the champagne bottle, so that I could relax, because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I chugged the champagne bottle because of my nerves. And when I was done with it, I was like, yo, like, now I'm a little more loose. And I'm like, yo, do you want to, like, he brings me down to where he has his drinks. He brings out like this crazy expensive champagne, pops it open. Now I'm drinking that. So I just got too drunk.
Yeah.
And you think he noticed that? It's like, all right, we won't record, or like?
Well, he eventually said, all right, it's time to go. But I was there for 6 hours. So I was like,
Holy fuck.
I was still there for a long time.
Word.
But yeah, eventually he was like, all right, you got to go, because I kept trying to hit the engineer's vape. Like every second I was like, yo, can I hit your vape? And he's one of those guys, this engineer, where he was like not cool with it. I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like, just let me hit the jewel.
That's how
It
some
was a
people
jewel.
are, bro.
He just was not about letting me hit it. And I was like, I can't even. If you're not gonna let me hit that, I'm just gonna be standing here freaking out, because I need to be hitting the, when you're drinking, you got to be hitting the vape.
Yeah, but I was the
just wasn't
type,
letting
when
me
I
do
was vaping, bro, and a random person asked me for a hit, hell no. I don't know
Right.
you like that.
Right, I get it, but
That's
I was
how
like,
it was.
I didn't
Nah,
consider
that's not
myself
how
random.
That's not how the vape community is, though. I feel like everybody gives each other vapes. At least
Not with a random person. Like, if you're at a festival, I've had people come up to me, yo, bro, can I hit that? No, I don't know
No,
you, bro.
that's different. When I was on tour, every night, I would be like, yo, who in the crowd of hundreds of people has a vape?
No way.
And they
bro.
would bring it up to me, and I would hit it. And I would drink their drink. No, I swear to God, I would be like, somebody bring me a drink, somebody bring me a vape.
Why
awesome.
didn't you just
man.
have your own? Where's your vape at?
Word.
Where your jewel at? Huh?
Listen, it's the same way with weed. I'll hit it, but I never have my own.
Fair.
I never have my own.
All right, man. Let's get into these hot takes. You got stories for days, man. We might have to do like a part two.
Yeah, facts. Or if let's say an underground artist sells out like a Irving Plaza, which is like 1,000 people, are they still underground, even though they're not like super duper mainstream?
Yeah, I think so. To me,
does it go by ticket sales? Like when I always ask this, like what's the threshold
I think
of underground?
I think it's a stage in the artist's career when you feel like you are one of the few that support this artist to that level. But here's the difference. Back then, Playboy Carter comes out, for example, with Broke Boy. When you heard that, obviously everyone's saying, okay, this guy is probably going to be the guy. I don't know if you would have predicted him to be at that level.
Yeah.
Nav, too. I remember Nav, Chris
is
Miles.
amazing.
The first time I only met Chris Miles one time. Do you know who Chris Miles is?
No.
Do you know who that is? Chris Miles is kind of like, listen, he's a Long Island legend too, this guy. I think he was even doing shit before me. Like, right? He was doing shit. He's great at making music. I met with him one time, and me and him we were riding around in a car with some other people, and I think we were smoking maybe, or I don't know what we were doing. But he was playing me Nav. And this was the first time I ever heard of Nav. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, Nav, that's underground. Because I'd never heard of him. Nav was like a big example of like an underground guy who you didn't really know. And then he becomes this massive guy.
Right.
Are any of these guys that we're talking about going to become massive people? To where it's like, because I feel like maybe in underground, it only has value if I think when the success comes, then you're like, okay, that was their underground period.
The select few.
The only people would be at first. It would have been like a Ken Carson, a Yeet, a Sofago. Those are the people that you saw that you can see becoming huge artists. All these other artists like a
They're
Dave.
here
You know who
today,
Dave
gone
Blunts is?
Yeah.
I think he's talented enough musically, but can I see him becoming more than
what he is now?
I don't know. Like it's hard to really gauge that.
We are the same age. So are you the same age?
I just
as
turned
us?
30.
All right, so we're the same age. So we experienced a lot of great artists from the ground up. I mean, even
Wiz
Thug.
Khalifa is a perfect example.
Wiz Khalifa is obviously prime time because that was high school.
Yeah.
Thug. I remember when I first heard Thug.
Big time. Even Big Sean though. Big Sean was
was the same time with Wiz. French Montana had a great
We
run.
saw Travis Scott's come up.
Travis,
From
Kid Cudi.
Al Farrow to now.
So all these guys, Kid Cudi's he's so back. So all those guys, like when you first, if you could remember when you first started hearing any of those guys, to me that was always underground vibes. It was like, okay, they just came out, they're new, they're low key. I just felt like the only people listening to them are like us in the car right now.
Right.
I don't know if any of these guys gives anybody that feeling. I don't know.
That's different because I feel like the mixtape era was so different.
The last person to
that's
give me that feeling was Yeet. I ain't gonna hold you because Yeet was just so out of this world different. Even though he has the Thug influence and
like
the
a
Future
blender
influence, he was just like otherworldly. So I was just like really.
I could see he's not a rapper, but you know who Two Hollis is?
Who?
Two Hollis.
No.
He makes like EDM.
He makes like EDM techno. I mean like
techno hip hop.
What's like house music kind of beats. And like the only reason people associate him with hip hop is because he opened for Ken Carson on his tour, but he's not a rapper. But he's doing his shows. The fans go nuts, bro. I seen him, and I could honestly see him being a superstar.
And people try to downplay him for being
like
a
fabricated
nepo baby, meaning like he had rich parents, which I think is so stupid.
Yeah, I believe his uncle is Skrillex.
I don't give a fuck. You still got to be nice, because how many people we know that have like parents that are whatever or uncles that are whatever and they suck.
I guess the last underground artist that you knew right away was probably Juice WRLD, bro. Probably Juice WRLD. You heard Juice WRLD one song, you knew he was out of here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You knew it was out of here. Bibby said it all the time. Like, yo, I heard one song, like, wow.
Yeah.
This guy's out of here. But my man said Young Fazo is better than Osama Son, Netspend, and Che. You probably like
we're going into a whole nother world here.
Osa Mason?
You don't know who Young Fazo is?
He's from Long Island.
Yeah, he's super young, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's Young Fazo.
He's pretty hard. I've heard some of his songs.
Okay. Shit. Do you know who Osama Son is?
I like Netspend.
You like Netspend? Netspend! Shout out. Netspend's an interesting character. Do you see him being like bigger than what he is?
I definitely see him aesthetically wise going up. Like, he's already got the lore. Like, people are treating him like broke boy era Cardi.
But can he ever build more of a fan base than what he has now?
Yeah. He's white and he's got the looks. He looks like fucking
I mean, look at what Bibby did for Kid Leroy.
Yeah, but the Kid Leroy was never a rapper, bro. That's a big difference in my opinion. Yeah, but Nets music is
But Netsman is
it's
getting
not
better,
digestible.
bro.
It's not something that could play on the
Bro,
radio
but
that
you
an
can't-
average fan could be like,
Bro.
yeah, this is hard.
He went from making noise on his he was straight
It's
up
still
noise,
noise
and
though.
static
What are
on
y'all
his
talking
songs.
about? His music is still noise.
Nah, it's way better now. You're crazy. Damn, Unc. I rock with
Wait,
them too.
Little Bibby is managing this guy? Net
No.
spend?
Yeah. I feel like the Kid Laroi wouldn't be as big of an area of Juice WRLD if he didn't die. He would probably be like an Ian Dior or a 24K Golden and only have a few hits here and there, but fall off. Wow, that's a interesting
Nestle type
take.
shit.
So he's saying he kind of like took his place in a sense.
No.
But I think he's very talented though.
That's definitely not true.
It helped. It's a lie to say that it didn't help though. But I think
Immediately
he would've-
after Juice passed, though, I did see a lot of promo for Kid Laroi. Whether that
that's-
was already in the books already, but I felt like they really transitioned quick as far as
I
like,
mean, that was their
promo-wise.
next biggest artist. They kind of had no choice. Yeah. If X was still alive, he would be up there with the. Come on, that's such not a hot take.
Is that the same? You guys must get that hot take.
If
every
X was still
episode.
alive, he would be up there with the greats. Come on.
No
Yeah,
shit.
I don't think anyone's gonna.
No shit. My man said 2021 and 2022 was the last golden era of the underground. I feel like it's still new though. That's not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like saying
Well, think about it though, because Uzi had EXO Tour Life a year and a half after like coming out, so their expectations are like, you know, they want the Nets or like the I guess Ken Carson's.
Yeah, I get what
and
you mean.
Fagos and whoever else they wanted to be on top right away. They want them to have the #1 hit song like EXO Tour Life.
You know what makes me happy? Like Jello, for example, this song that he just dropped. What's it called?
I was gonna say Swerve. No,
Tweaker. That's
Tweaker.
called Tweaker. Okay.
And Lil Wayne went crazy on that remix. I don't care what y'all say. Comments was hating.
Right, that's
I
a
thought
great
it was
pick
fire.
too. That was a great pick by him. When you look at that song, those songs I think give everybody hope because it's like no one's looking for Jello. That guy has no fan base, nothing, right?
Yeah.
But it shows you that a hit can still happen, and like as long as that can happen, then that's why everybody's doing this because you need that. You need that. You need to see something work like that because there is a difference. There's a difference in just putting out music and having a hit. There's a difference.
Yeah, but him being already famous
Right.
definitely helped.
It's not like he just came out of complete nowhere.
Right.
But it still shows you that a hit happens. It's a unique type of song, but it's a hit.
You're only a hit away, bro.
Right.
We say this a lot.
It can happen, and I think that's a good. I like seeing these hits when they happen because it's like there's so much music that comes out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How does just one of them just kind of stray a little bit further on, and now it's this global hit, change this guy's life?
Big time.
You know, it's good
I
to
think
see
he
that
got a
happen.
Glorilla song coming out. So, I mean, but yeah, man, that's hot takes. Let's hear about your future though, man.
Well, first I
what's
want to
you
ask you
got
guys a
going?
question.
Ask me a
real
hot
quick.
take. Ask
Oh,
me.
shit.
I just am curious about the Trap Lord Russ interview and how that even happened because
Yeah.
I was watching his interviews for a while,
Yeah.
and I guess maybe
He a
he's
YouTube
kinda,
legend, bro.
right? He's kind of what
He
he's
is like
kinda
my like.
right.
So simple.
That's it.
How did that happen?
I reached out.
Where is he from?
He's from London.
Yeah, he's from London.
So
yeah.
he had mentioned.
He was coming for a week.
I
believe.
had hit him up, and he's like, "I'm actually gonna be in New York around this time, but I'll let you know. Like I'll follow up with you with exact dates." And usually, like when somebody that big like says that, they never follow up.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually did. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in New York this date. Like, let's set it up." And he pulled up super late, which was whatever, but he had a bunch of shit to do today, and the fact that we was a part of his
He did the Vlad interview. He
podcast
did like
tour.
4 interviews in like 2 days.
Vlad, he did academics, he did No Jumper, and he did us.
So the fact that he,
That's pretty
the
crazy.
fact that he was, took the time out of his day, and I think even before that, I don't know if I followed him or he followed me like back in the pandemic. So like we've been texting through DMs for a while. So I think he had already seen my videos.
Okay, so do
he
you
already
think that
knew
that's
about me.
what
Yes.
gave him the okay to want to do
Yes.
this because
If
of
it-
your YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So
I think if we were just some random brand new podcast from down the block and DM'd him, he would be like, no.
gotcha.
I think he already knew about.
Well, think about
It's
that,
Aaron
man.
speaking.
You already that's probably an equivalent to the top level guy.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. Him. I have a lot of YouTube goats. Blackie Speaks. A couple. There was this guy named Marvelous Beats. So he stopped making videos, but he was like my biggest inspiration. But yeah,
That is
Shout
cool
out
stuff.
Trap Lord
When I saw
Ross,
you
bro.
guys do that, I was like, wow, that's pretty
I
crazy.
had to tell him that King Von video he did was incredible. Like I can't even. And he did an NBA YoungBoy video that's like 6 hours, bro. And I know that 50 Cent video I did took me forever. I can only imagine how long that he did that for.
He put in the time.
But yeah, let us know what you got going for these next couple of months. Like, what's your plan, man? Because you got the Tyga placement. I'm sure you want to delve more into the writing space. Maybe it inspired you to start releasing your own type of shit. You know, you just dropped a project.
Well, I dropped. Shout out to Jetski, Wayne Jetski. Me and him just dropped an album not too long ago. Me and Rabs are working on an album.
Yeah, excited for that.
So that's gonna be hard. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just
Kind of winging it.
just gonna
You're
see.
in music limbo right
Gonna
now?
see. I'm gonna see what. I'm always working. I always have a million things going on, behind the scenes. But you just got to see what lands, and you have to try to make sure that you're prepared for an opportunity at all times. That's all it is. It's just a combination of being prepared and some luck, and that's how you need to be when an opportunity comes. Because if you're not prepared, you can get the opportunities all the time, but if I don't have music ready, or if I don't have certain things ready to go, then it doesn't matter. So I have to be ready at all times as far as having music.
Right.
But what am I going to do with it? I don't know. The fact that the Tyga thing, for me at least, it brought me back to feeling like, it brought me back to where I kind of want to be mentally about how I feel about the music, because it gives me a big purpose when something like that happens. Especially since I had to wait so long for it, and especially since I felt like I was at such a high point in my life with the label, and then when I was dropped from the label, there were times where I didn't think anything could ever happen for me again. And I had to wait 5 years, and now, this happened. So you have to just stay down,
believe, bro.
and you
If
gotta
I was to say anything I want to see from your future is just sometimes you gotta pop out and show motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pop your shit. You are accomplished, and I know that's not
Thank you.
your forte. It's definitely not my forte. So like, I should probably take my own advice. But I think like letting people know, or having like blogs post your accomplishments, like it doesn't necessarily have to be you putting it on your page. You could just putting it out there like, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I'm doing. Just like present it to the people more. That would be dope.
Well, look, that's why I want to thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys having me, because it's just like, you guys let me come on here. It's not this whole thing. It's not this big thing. I only met Aaron one time ever.
Yeah.
Other than now. So it's not. I think I get respect in the sense that you guys are okay. We don't have to do this whole thing. You let me come on. We do our thing. So to me, that's the acknowledgement of that you guys, think that I'm worthy of the time to spend. I mean, this is a long time. It's like 2 hours.
Almost, yeah.
This is our longest episode.
Right. So I like just doing stuff like this, and just being able to talk to guys that have, older guys that have the experience, and just that have, stories and stuff like that.
And
so
we appreciate people that, because a lot of people only see the accomplishments, bro. And we work a lot behind the scenes. We're constantly editing, so we know what it's like to grind and shit. So we appreciate people that put in the paint.
And we have those low times too, man. Like we can relate, like putting so much effort into like a video, right, or something, like putting hours and days of editing for it to be a dud. Like we get those experiences all the time. So
Nah, man. Hey,
the
man.
man,
Hey, man.
the boy, the myth, the legend.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Drama calmate.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of which, podcast.
Gripao.